We're back with Dragon Ball Kakumei Chapter 3, Stand Clear for Departure. And in this chapter, all of the fighters from the various universes that we saw in the Tournament of Power will begin their training as they prepare themselves to fight the onslaught of gods of destruction from the restored universes. So just a little bit of refresher, when Android 17 wished for all the universes to return at the end of the Tournament of Power, that also returned universes 13 through 19, not just 13 through 18, but there is also a universe 0, which Goku flew into recklessly and was captured by the new gods of destruction and the new mother of all the angels. Before the mother of the angels and the new gods of destruction could attack, the Grand Priest sealed them all in some sort of time-space barrier for 2 years, and then reached out to all of the fighters from the various universes, letting them know that a war was coming and that they would have 2 years to train. Vegeta's sitting there talking to Bulma, and he says, we need to find Broly. He has huge potential, and he could be very useful. So Vegeta is going to go on this adventure. He's actually going to end up going to Universe 6 to the Saiyan planet Sadala, and it's pretty interesting what happens there, but we'll get to that in just a few minutes. But I'm super excited to see what the authors of this series do with Broly. First, Piccolo is meditating and somebody approaches him. Now, interestingly, a conversation between Vegeta and Gohan, where Vegeta suggests to Gohan that he should go train with Whis, since Whis has trained with his father Goku so much. But Gohan says, I have an idea of what I want to do during these 2 years, and he actually wants to go train on Universe 11 with Jiren and Toppo. We'll get into that a little bit later on in the chapter, but it's pretty interesting how all of the characters, all of the Z fighters, basically go to different universes in order to train. And this is something I absolutely love about this series. They're exploring the different universes. For example, we get to see the Trio de Danger's home planet from the Tournament of Power, the 3 wolf characters. These are the kinds of things that fans want to see, and leave it up to fans to give other fans what we want, right? We're gonna get everyone involved here. We're gonna get Tien, Yamcha, Krillin, Goten, Trunks. Everybody's fighting this time. Goten and Trunks aren't sitting out. And the funny thing is, Goten's actually going to challenge Beerus in just a few minutes, which is pretty darn interesting. Vegeta's character, however, just from a critical standpoint, it does not seem like his personality at all. He seems like very fatherly and caring, and it's just not the standard Vegeta personality that we know and love, which he seemed to nail all the other personalities. But anyway, I digress. We get to see who meets with Piccolo, and it is Salnel and Pilina, the 2 Namekians from Universe 6. So they're coming to train with their homeboy Piccolo, who bested them in the Tournament of Power. And that's kind of the vibe of all of this arc, and this is kind of what I like about it. It has connective tissue to the Tournament of Power, and a lot of these fighters that fought with each other or didn't get the chance to fight with each other and want to train with each other are going to do that now. For example, Gohan going to Universe 11, Universe 6 Namekians training with Piccolo. Vegeta, most importantly, goes to the Saiyan homeworld of Universe 6 and gets them all to bow to him as the prince, which is pretty amazing. So as he's on his trek to Universe 6, Bulma actually goes to planet Vampa to find Broly. She finds the whole crew there, including Chilai and Lemo, and she tells them the whole story about what this war is to come, but that's when she actually gets pinged by Whis, who says that he has some bad news. Gohan meets with the Z fighters, and he explains that we all have a role to play. Even though you guys are weak, you can train. There's so many areas you guys can train in right now. You can get strong enough to help save the multiverse. Krillin and Master Roshi are kind of like, look, we can't really do much, but they actually get convinced to join, or at least Krillin does anyway. Gohan gives a valiant speech saying, for years Goku has been the one protecting us, giving life to the weak without hesitation. My father and billions of people are waiting for us and need our help. So we go back to Vegeta, who's about to embark on his journey. Actually, the whole Z fighters, everybody's going to come with Whis, who arrives here and makes one of his God Cube things that he can fly throughout space with, and they're all going to hop on board, going to the various universes with the help of Whis. And we get some really nice group shots here. As always, Dragon Ball Kakumei's art is just phenomenal. It's one of the best things about this series. Not only the art, but the fact that they just give fans what we want to see. And it's nice to see the whole crew gathering together again. Although they're going to be going up against Gods of Destruction, I believe, so I really don't know what Krillin and Yamcha and Tien are going to do besides be fodder or be cheerleaders on the sidelines, unless those Gods of Destruction bring fighters from their own universes, in which maybe this will almost be like a second Tournament of Power sort of deal, which I'd also be okay with. I mean, who knows what this multiverse war has in store for us, and they're pumping out these chapters pretty quick, like I'd say every 3 to 4 weeks. So this arc, while right now we're getting into kind of the training phase, is gonna blast off in probably a chapter or two. And then we get another really nice group shot here with the whole crew, Goten and Trunks included as well, Vegeta there in the background, Gohan, Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien. And they're actually going to spread out to various universes, 6, 9, and 11, and Beerus's planet as well. So they say they're going to start with Universe 9, and that's because Yamcha, Tien, and Krillin can go train with the trio Day Dangers. Everyone hops into Whis' cube, and they take off for a brand new adventure. So Bulma has picked up Broly, Chilai, and Lemo, and she is taking them to planet Sadala. So Broly's going to get to go to a Saiyan homeworld. Even though it's not his own universe, he will be introduced to an entire planet full of his race, and that whole interaction will probably be interesting. Why does Jacko look so cool there? Why can't they draw him like that in the anime? So now they're going to arrive at Universe 9, Planet Calumet. This is where the trio Day Dangers lives. It seems to be a planet just surrounded by a super thick layer of fog and clouds and smoke. And I like this, even though it's not super important to the story or anything, we're still getting to explore other universes, other planets, other species, and this is something that's completely open in Dragon Ball Super. Yet again, we rarely get things like that in the anime or the manga. I mean, right now we are getting expansion on the Cerealians, which is kind of neat. We just got the whole backstory with Bardock and everything, but at the same time, we still never really learned too much about the planets and people of the characters in the Tournament of Power. We got brief glimpses of them on their planets, but not too much explanation. And here we're just taking a dive into 3 of the cast from the Tournament of Power and getting to see what their homeworld looks like. As Gohan and crew fly through this 300-kilometer thick cloud that surrounds the entire world, you get to see some of the species and characters that live on this planet, and they look surprisingly human. So Yamcha and Tien and Krillin are going to go practice and train with the 3 trio Day Dangers in order to get their own power boost, and Gohan says, I'm going to get off at the next stop, I think they'll be better for me. So Gohan thinks he needs much more powerful opponents, and that's why he's going to go to Universe 11 to face off against Jiren. Now we have perhaps my favorite part of the whole chapter, and that's Vegeta coming in to Universe 6, Planet Sadala, the Saiyan homeworld of Universe 6, and you get to see all of these kind of rough and old school Saiyans, like they're still wearing fur and everything, and Vegeta comes in, just immediately takes one out for calling him a Saiyan and not referring to him as the Prince. And this obviously stirs the beehive as the other Saiyans prepare for battle, and Vegeta's like, oh come on, your power levels are all like 1,000, what are you guys gonna do? An army of you is nothing to me. Meanwhile, Goten and Trunks, who kind of look slightly older here, I'm not really sure if the artist did that on purpose, but they're arriving here on Beerus's planet, and they're gonna try and train with Beerus and Whis. Probably not going to go over too well for the kids, who appear to be slightly grown up, but it is nice to have them become a part of the story again. Yet again, this is another example of fans giving fans what they want to see. We like Goten and Trunks, they had a lot of potential at the end of Dragon Ball Z, they're completely useless in Dragon Ball Super, and we would like to see them grown up and actually doing things. They both have Super Saiyan, they're both tremendously strong, they both can replicate their parents' abilities, presumably, and why not bring these characters back into the story? Beerus is going to make kind of a joke about this isn't a club for kids, and Goten gets really pissed off because Goku might be dead. You know, his dad is somewhere missing in Universe 0 right now, so Goten is going to charge in at Beerus after going Super Saiyan, even taking Beerus by surprise. Trunks gets in his way and he's like, you're crazy, Goten, charging in at Beerus like that. And Goten says, move over, Trunks. Obviously, Trunks knows that Beerus is light years out of the league of Goten, and so he's trying to prevent him from basically just going into a suicide mission, just going in on pure anger. But he's not really going to have too much time, as Beerus is actually going to just straight up fly into Goten, grab him by the face, and send him flying. Goten flies into one of the moons surrounding Beerus's planet, and he's all sorts of messed up at this point. But he's not done yet. He says it's not over, Beerus. And Beerus puts his hand on Goten's face and says, Hakai, about to erase Goten, but then he just kind of like flicks his face and then he's like, you guys go practice somewhere else. I'm not gonna entertain you kids over here on my planet. So here we get Universe 9, Planet Calumet or Salament. Excuse me, no one is answering us. We need help. It seems they don't speak our language. It's strange. Bergamo, Lavenda, and Basil should understand us. And that's when they see the 3 Trio de Dangers. Back to Universe 6, we see Vegeta standing in front of a pile of beat up Saiyans, and it's just hysterical, like asserting his dominance as the prince, and that's when he actually bumps into Caulifla. That's when we get over to Universe 11. Now, some interesting things happen here. Belmont is giving up his God of Destruction reign to Toppo. And because of this, he's not going to like lose his powers, but he's going to lose the immortality in a sense that the God of Destruction powers have given him. So because he's over 3,000 years old, once he relinquishes his title as God of Destruction, he's basically just going to die. And he's like okay with that. He's like, I've lived way longer than my species is supposed to last. And they begin this God of Destruction transferring ritual. Now these 2 strange looking Hakai Titans appear, and this is actually the ritual to create a new God of Destruction. Very interesting artwork here. I like the depiction. I like the fan theory as to what that ritual could actually look like. And that's when we get my favorite art piece from this entire chapter. And you can see that the power is siphoning from Belmont into Toppo. And I mean, Toppo just looks insane there, like his muscles are bulging and everything. You can see Belmont almost looks like his muscles are shrinking, or he's like getting skinnier. He's like dying in a way, like his life force being sucked out of him and being put into Toppo. And all you can see left over from Belmont is this charcoaled, skinny, like anorexic skeleton looking creature that has way outlived his lifetime. And you know, if he had lived 3,000 years, that's what his decayed body would look like, I guess. Insanely cool artwork, very, very well depicted here. Really awesome job from the team behind Dragon Ball Kakumei. Margarita asks Toppo, how do you feel? And he's like, I'm good. But then he sees Lord Belmont. He sees he's like just this charcoal decayed body, and he falls to his knees. I mean, I guess it was his master, not only his God of Destruction, but appeared to be his sensei as well. And that's when Gohan arrives, explains the situation, sees that Toppo is now the new God of Destruction. And that's pretty much the end of the chapter, as Gohan is going to train with Jiren and God of Destruction Toppo. So I assume that now that all of the Z fighters have reached their destinations, the next chapter will be probably all training with Krillin, Tien, and Yamcha with the Trio de Dangers, Gohan versus Jiren and Toppo, Vegeta training with Caulifla and Kale, etc. And probably after that full chapter, after chapter 4, we will get into the multiverse War of the Gods, which is going to be insanely exciting. Now, the authors have said that the next chapter is coming out on the 25th of November, so it appears that they are inclined to continue doing this, releasing a chapter every single month on the 25th, which is completely awesome. And I just applaud these guys for the fantastic artwork, giving fans what they want, the great story. Awesome stuff, guys. I'll see you for the next chapter review around the 25th of November.